Ladies and gentlemen, lads and lassies, lords and ladies, it doesn't matter who you are because this is football for you. This is the UFL. Welcome to rainy Los Angeles, home of the Los Angeles Aztecs, as they welcome in the UFL champion New York Lightning. Welcome inside the broadcast booth, everybody. Alongside Ramos Lynn, my name is Eric Vinson. We want to thank you for tuning in to this presentation of UFL football in its inaugural game. Ramos, we've waited a long time. It is finally here. How you feeling?
It is finally here. I mean, we saw the Octobox, kind of, broadcast, and we've seen enough of preseason. It's time to get to the real thing. Aztecs and Lightning, again, the Lightning, they're defending champions. The Aztecs do have the home field advantage. So let's see if Los Angeles can pull the upset.
A rematch of last year's championship matchup in the UFL. New York won that 41-20. Los Angeles looking to get back on track. They were looking for a four-peat. New York shut that down real quick. And they will start off with the football. First play from scrimmage is going to be a run. And up the middle it goes for a gain of 5 as we look at the offensive starters.
Yeah, this offensive line, again, first play of the game, 5 yards. And that's exactly what you want to do, especially in the rain, Eric. You want to have that run game established, because passing the football may be a little bit challenging under these weather conditions.
Chad Doss with that carry. He's still in the backfield here on this second down. First throw, and it's a completion for a first down. Brando Black with the first throw in league history.
Quick slant route, finding the soft spot of the defense. Los Angeles will have to cover every blade of grass, it looks like, if they want to win this game.
Completion to Ryzen Rodriguez. Play action this time for Black. All day to throw. Could make a sandwich. Now he's going to air one out, and it's just a bit short for his intended target. Incomplete as we look at the Aztecs now on defense.
Yeah, this defensive line, led by DJ Kilgan, and they have to put pressure on the quarterback. This time, great coverage, but they couldn't get to the QBs. Kudos to the secondary, forcing that throw, an errant throw into double coverage. The quarterback just had to dirt it.
So it brings up a second down now. So just past the 40. Nifty little run there, but unfortunately it doesn't really get him any yardage. In fact, he'll lose a yard as Morales Woods makes the stop for the TFL.
Yeah, good job by the left-hand side of that defensive line, as you can see, pushing the tight end backwards and had to string it outside. Wasn't successful, and the linebacker was there to make the tackle.
Miguel Morales Woods, CJ Parrish, and Scotty Scruggs, all-star linebackers here for this Aztec defense as they force a 3rd and 11 for the Lightning. Black to throw. Good clean pocket. He's going to air it near sideline. Got him, man, and it's incomplete. It was tight coverage, one-on-one there. Tried to throw up a hand to snag it in, but Gordon couldn't come up with it. We're going to see our first punt.
Also with the help of Williams, an undersized defensive back. You can see basically the receiver has him by probably a good 3 or 4 inches, but good coverage, double team wash also on the coverage, and a little bit too high, a little bit too much to the boundary, to the sideline. It's incomplete, and this is a really good stop, Eric, by the Aztec defense.
After allowing New York to get a little bit of momentum early on, got about 20 yards, but no more than that, and the Aztecs will get their first crack at the football here following the punt. Piner's punt is a good one and a good stick there on the back end, and the Aztecs will set up shop inside their own 15-yard line. Marco Swift at quarterback. He's going to hand it off to the exciting Isaiah Fowler. He'll get a few yards on that one as we get a look at the rest of the offensive stars for LA.
Yeah, and for LA is basically the same thing. Control the offensive line, try to open up the holes for Isaiah Fowler. If they can do that, they really do have a nice chance. They have to convert on those first downs, get into 3rd and short yardage situations, and move the chains.
Swift to throw this time. Has a good pocket. He's going to check it down near sideline. Good move there by the receiver. And that's actually the tight end, Lars Bazar, getting the first down for the Aztecs.
Yeah, good job by the offensive line again. No, only 3 rushers, but a good job nonetheless by the LA offensive line and the receiver getting open.
It looks like we got our first flag of the game. It's going to be a false start on the offense, and that'll move them back 5 yards.
Yeah, Isaiah Fowler got a little bit too excited there, a little bit jumpy.
LA trying to avoid those self-inflicted wounds here tonight at home and pick up their first victory on the season. Play action for Marco, as he'll go ahead and check it down to the crossing receiver, and good gain there on 1st and 15, and that'll set him up with 2nd and 8.
Yeah, good job. Get your yards back. It's 1st and 15. Chances of you getting the 15 whole yards in one play is not very likely, but at least get half of it and put yourself in a better position.
Back to the ground game. Fowler trying to find some room. He was electric in the exhibition match. Gets a couple on that one as we get a look at the Lightning defensive front.
Yeah, led by Dante Doom. This is a good front 7. They do have 3 defensive linemen, 4 linebackers. So let's see if New York, especially as the game progresses, if they send some blitzes, try to get after the running back, and as well as try to get after the quarterback.
Kane Vasquez, definitely someone to watch out for in that secondary, one of the highest rated safeties in the league, as Swift goes to the air on 3rd down. He's got a completion and a 1st down, and that'll move the sticks for the Aztecs.
Yeah, that's a good hook route right there. Morales Woods with the catch, 11 yards. Just finding again that south spot of the defense, as you can see on the replay right here, just in front of the corner. Good timing right there by the quarterback, beating the corner. Not terrible coverage right there by Dawson, but that's a really good throw and a good job holding onto the football here in the heavy rain.
Let's go now. 15 Lonnie.
Now the Aztecs will set up shop from about their own 40-yard line. We'll see if they're a little bit more successful than the Lightning were on their first possession. Good hold there for Fowler as he zooms ahead for a gain of about 4.
Bit of a delayed handoff right there. You just did a couple of passing plays, so you do the delay handoff, make the defense believe it's going to be another pass, and then they go with a run.
Offset eye on 2nd down. Pitch play goes to Fowler, trying to find the outside, and gets maybe a couple of yards there.
Broken tackle right there by Fowler. The linebacker actually shot the gap and had Fowler for maybe a loss of a couple, but good job by the running back getting a couple on that one.
Short. Swift gonna throw near sideline. Catch is made, trying to avoid the defender, and gets ushered out of bounds. We'll see where they give him forward progress. Only a yard, so that's gonna end up being a 4th down for LA.
Yeah, and if you're LA, I will punt the football here on 4th down. It's enticing to go for it right there in midfield, but this is not a bad possession here for Los Angeles. Get a few yards and try to control the field position, even though this is not a great punt.
No, not a great punt at all, as Nick Burke kicked that one out at around the 30-yard line, it looks like, is where they're going to mark it. And New York will take over for their 2nd possession here.
Ready. 60 Pittsburgh.
All 32 teams created by Zilligan Design Studio. Childhood sketches of his are on the field tonight as you see them, as that was a bit of an errant pass there by Black, having trouble getting going in this early rain.
Yeah, this is the 2nd time he throws the ball to the dirt. The first time good coverage, this time just not an open receiver in the area.
Gonna go back to the ground game. Fullback dive goes nowhere. Scotty Scruggs getting in there with a big stop, forcing a 3rd down and long.
Yeah, just not a whole lot there. And if I'm Los Angeles here on 3rd and 10, I will send a little bit of a pressure here. Look at outside on the edge on a 48. Let's see if he comes with a blitz.
3 down linemen, bunch of guys back in coverage, and again an errant throw as Black is 1 for 5 to start things off, and it's a 3 and out for the Lightning.
A bit of week 1 jitters right there for Black, as that one was pretty open. That one was a good route by the receiver, and just a poor throw.
Daniel Alvarez did look like he had a step on that one, and Brando just couldn't quite get it to him. 2nd punt of the night for Brandon Piner. And a good one the last time. This one's a good one as well. Fair catch called for this time after the big hit on the last punt. And Miles will set up his offense at the 21-yard line. Swift coming back out. Had a better starting possession than New York did, but ultimately ended in a punt. They're looking to improve upon that here. The ground game with Fowler. He's got a burst of speed up the middle, and he's got first down yardage, a gain of 15+ there on first down.
You know, and they overload the right side of the formation, so you may think maybe another toss play, maybe a stretch play, but they actually just kind of run a zone, an inside zone, and there's just a lot of room right there at the middle of the offensive line. Really, the Aztec offense offensive line doing a nice job so far here in the first quarter with a nice move from Fowler right there on Clater. No chance, as he was able to get about 18.
And Clater really was the only one there that stopped that touchdown run. So now the Aztecs setting up shop with a first down. Swift back to the air. Good pocket, throws it over the middle, and it's incomplete. Looks like he was looking for Miles Morales-Woods, and that brings up second down.
Yeah, and then that was Clater almost redeeming himself with an interception. Actually bounced right off his hands and unable to come away with the interception. So Los Angeles catches a break.
Back to the ground game again. This time Fowler getting a breather. Noel with the carry and only gets a yard. Good tackle on the back end by the Lightning.
Beautiful job shutting the gap right there. And, you know, this is one of the hardest things to do, especially in raining conditions. Open field tackles. It's very difficult to do.
3rd and 9 for Swift. Again, good pocket. This time finds his man, Miles Morales-Woods, and a big completion towards the far sideline will move the sticks. Swift doing a good job, starting 5 of 6.
Second grab from Morales-Woods, and this is just kind of like a comeback route, as you can see on the replay right here. He could have taken the check down right there with the tight end, but instead he goes deeper into that comeback route, making the catch and forced out of bounds, but in New York territory.
Looked like Fowler was going on a little bit of a wheel route. Could have possibly had him open as well. Good start for the Aztecs here. First down is back to the ground game. Fowler going to gain about 6 or 7. We'll give him 7, 2nd and 3.
It's a counter play, so you fake that you're going to run to the right, then you go to the left, and you know that hesitation, you know, you can bait linebackers to try to shoot a gap that the running back is not going to go through.
From the gun this time. Swift, wide open man over the middle, near the 20-yard line, and that'll get him into the red zone.
That's the dig route right there. It's about 12 yards. It's a 12-yard concept, Eric. So you go 12 yards, and then you cut 90 degrees to the inside. Let's see if we can get a replay right here. So he cuts to the inside, and that play is designed to go in between the linebackers and the safeties. The safeties maybe have to cover a deeper route. The linebackers are worried about any shallow cross, and good protection again given to the quarterback. That's a great throw and a good catch by Turner, as well, the Aztecs are now in scoring position.
Iggy Turner ran that route to perfection as they set up in the red zone now. Best possession for either team here early on. Noel with a big burst of speed up the middle, but a big hit on the back end. And now it's going to be 1st and goal for LA.
Good run right there. And again, it's not only Fowler, it's Noel also getting involved in the game plan, and that's good for the Aztecs. I mean, the fullback did an amazing job blocking the linebacker, and Noel doesn't get touched, before he gets past the first down marker.
Fowler checks back into the ball game on 1st and goal. Pitch play to the outside, trying to get a burst of speed. Instead, cuts back in towards a couple different Lightning defenders and only gets maybe a yard.
That's a fake fullback dive toss. Trying to catch the defense off guard, but they had enough contain on the outside. Let's see if they run it to the left here, Eric. Right behind the fullback. Nope.
They're going to go play action. And Swift again, plenty of time. He's going to run it. He's going to try and get to the goal line. It's going to be stopped a couple yards short as Polk and company made the stop. 3rd and goal now.
3rd and goal. This is a tricky situation because it's not close enough to do, some sort of a tush push, so to speak, like quarterback sneak. It's 2 yards. So let's see what Los Angeles does.
Swift to the air, catch is
Got him.
made, touchdown, LA! First touchdown in league history on the board.
A receiver with 83 for the Aztecs. Where have I seen that before, going with a contested catch? That is a great catch by the receiver. I mean, Cox could not have better coverage. He's plastered all over him, and just with his body shields the defender. Good control. The ball doesn't touch the ground, and it's a touchdown for Los Angeles.
The Aztec faithful are on their feet here in the pouring rain in LA as they've scored the first touchdown here in this UFL season. Extra point going to be up and good from Chris McCray. And a 7-0 ball game with only 18 seconds to go here in the opening frame.
And again, solid work for Los Angeles. They've had 2 drives. You know, the previous drive only got to midfield. They had to punt. But, you know, I said it's a good, still a good drive. Get the field position, get some confidence on offense. And here in the second drive, great balance between runs and passes. You saw that pass, that comeback round. You saw the dagger route, and with a couple more runs, they were able to connect for a touchdown. And for New York, you know, they have to find ways on offense, especially you know, the quarterback position. You have to connect with your receivers. He has been throwing the ball to the dirt a few times already in this game. Maybe a little bit of nerves here in week 1.
Another good boot by the kicker there, and another touchback for the Lightning as they move things up to the 25-yard line. Still plenty of players available to claim. UFL.football is the website if you are interested in claiming your player today. This is football for everyone, man.
Yeah, I don't know about you, man, but I'm excited about our Pioneers, man. I cannot wait to see that.
Absolutely. Cannot wait. Black back to the air, completes his second pass of the afternoon, and that's going to be a short gain of 3.
Yeah, and that's baby steps. You know, you get your 3 yards, get your completion. You know, put your quarterback in a situation where he starts to feel comfortable in the game.
And that'll bring us to the end of 1. LA just took the lead here at home, 7-0 over the defending champ New York Lightning. You're watching the UFL on VFN.
18 Gator.
Eric Vincent alongside Ramos Lynn here in the broadcast booth. Cameron Irvine back at UFL HQ is our AI expert for the evening as well. We will definitely bring him in for any sort of questions that we may have as the game progresses. And New York now with a 3rd and 3.
Maybe a play action here, Eric. No?
They're going to stick with the ground game in LA, ready for it once again, as Brosius was ready for the stop. And it's going to be another TFL. The Aztecs have looked very good on defense so far after that opening possession, Ramos.
Yeah, just winning the trenches on 3rd down is kind of the theme right now here in the first half. You know, defensive line getting into the backfield to make tackles for loss and preventing New York to get to the first down marker. And offensively, we've seen the quarterback get protected. We've seen the open holes for the running backs to run through. And, you know, most games are designed in the are decided between offensive and defensive lines.
So another punt. LA with another crack at the football. And out to about the 20-yard line. $5 super chat from Jesse Fretz. Check out Austin Lone Star's first-rounder rookie quarterback Jesse Long and pass-rushing powerhouse Theodore Blackman in triple box following Primetime. That'll be coming up here later on. Brando Black, $5 super chat. New York. As Swift will hand it off here to Fowler. Couple of yards there, brings up 2nd and 8.
Yeah, and the run game, you know, Eric, how it works is you will get only 1 yard, 2 yards, 3 yards, but you have to stick with it because eventually we know Fowler, we know the speed that he has, so it's about, you know, a matter of time maybe for him to get a big gain. Ooh.
Oh, a good call on the play action there, but Polk wasn't fooled whatsoever. It's going to be a sack, and that's going to set up LA with a 3rd and 16.
So this is basically what I was waiting for, right, for New York with that 3-4 defensive scheme. Send some linebackers, send some pressure from the edge, from the inside. In that case, they were ready for both. You know, the running back right there was pretty much hit, and then the quarterback got sacked. So great defensive play by the Lightning.
Looks like the Lightning going with a 3-down lineman look here on this 3rd and long. Swift going to get it out quickly to a crossing receiver, and he's going to be well short of that line to gain, and that's going to bring up a 4th down.
Yeah, once you're on 3rd and 16, there's not a whole lot of plays for 3rd and 16, Eric. So, you know, sometimes what you want to do, especially how good the defense is played, you know, try to get as many yards as you can, get about 6, 7, 8 yards. In this case, they got 10. And then you feel comfortable, okay, let's punt the ball and let's play some more defense.
A good opportunity here for New York to get on the scoreboard. Another good punt. Returnable kick here, and it's going to be brought out past the 40-yard line to the 42. So good starting field position here. Maybe the Lightning will take advantage on this possession.
Yeah, and New York in general has had better field position than the Aztecs. So, you know, it's about time for the defending champs to capitalize. I mean, even if you get 3 points, you know, that's progress, and that's a good continuation.
Black back to the air. Going to throw far sideline, and that's a little bit too far past his intended receiver. It's going to bring up 2nd down.
Yeah, just nobody open, and you know, Black also has to think a little bit of maybe, you know, scrambling, see if he can get about, you know, 5 yards on the ground. RPO.
A little bit of an RPO there. Gets it out to Alvarez, and he's going to be close to the line to gain. Black 3 of 8 now. 3rd and 4 coming up here.
Yeah, and in the RPO, you know, the first read, at least how I use it, is the pass first, and if it's covered, then you give it to your running back.
Black on 3rd down. Throws, again, a little too low for the intended target. He just seems off tonight, it seems, and it's going to be another 4th down.
Yeah, just a little bit off. You know, the weight crowd are getting a little bit to him probably, and it's another solid stop here for the Aztec defense. They will not have very good field position, presumably, but, man, they got another stop on a 3 and out.
And this punt is going to sky, at least inside the 20-yard line this time, out at the 18. And something to point out, Ramos, New York certainly caught the ire of the rest of the league as they lost more attributes across players than any other team in the league during off-season workouts.
Yes, absolutely.
Swift back to the air. Confident throw over the middle. Catch made. 1st down once again for the Aztecs.
I was just going to use that word, confidence. You see the quarterback plant the left foot and deliver a strike to the receiver. You know, there's no hesitation. There's no, unstable footwork. It's just a laser middle of the field.
Fowler gets a crack at the football. Lightning doing a good job with bottling up this run game here. Only a couple big runs of maybe 10-plus yards.
Yeah, and they know that's the guy that they need to stop. Still, though, I think Fowler is due for eventually break for a pretty big run.
So we're all waiting for it as he gets the carry here. But again, good open field tackle here by these Lightning linebackers, doing a great job limiting the damage.
3rd and 4, you know, the whole playbook pretty much open for you. Mostly, you know, you will call a pass. See the slot guy on the top of the screen right there in front of the linebacker.
Swift on 3rd and 4. Gonna go far sideline, almost picked off there on the deflection. But it's gonna be another punt here. LA not having the same success as that touchdown drive, clearly, as New York has made some defensive adjustments.
Yes, and basically they try to use that hook route again. They've been able to connect with a couple of them, and this time Lewis does a great job breaking up the pass, getting right there on time. No PI, no defensive holding, no interference, just a solid defensive play.
Under 6.5 to go here in the opening half as Alvarez returns the punt past the 15, mark him down at the 19. Still plenty of time to go in this ball game. Plenty of opportunity for Brando Black to get his feet underneath him.
Yeah, and a game that probably was predicted to be a little bit more offensive has turned into a defensive battle.
Well, the weather certainly doesn't help with that.
Absolutely.
Low snap, gets it, hands it off to Doss. Excuse me, that's Porter as he gets back to maybe the original line of scrimmage, giving forward progress. Second and 9. Play action this time for Black. Good clean pocket. He's going to air one out, dropping the bucket there as he has his receiver out to the 45-yard line.
This is a beautiful throw right there. It's going to be seems to be an over route, and Rodriguez gets the catch right in between the safeties and the linebackers. Best throw of the night.
Good route, good catch there by Ryzen Rodriguez.
Set. 60 or. Come.
First down from midfield. Porter with another carry as he'll rumble forward near midfield, getting maybe a few yards on that one.
Decent blocking right there off the right-hand side. Good job by the Aztec defense collapsing it, but nice blocking also.
To the gun. Black. High throw, but catch made. It's going to be short. In fact, that's going to be no yardage at all. 3rd and 7.
Yeah, they try to connect with a pick play. It was a mesh concept, so just a couple of crossing routes, but good job in the man coverage by the Aztec defense, containing that to no gain.
3rd down now. Black. Blitz coming in his face and still got it complete to his man, Rodriguez, once again.
Yeah, similar route as of a couple of plays ago. It's just Rodriguez going middle of the field now with 2 grabs, 37 yards on this drive alone. The pressure was getting to him, but a good job, good throw right there at the numbers of the receiver. And a first down for the Lightning.
10-2 stop.
LA with their best possession of the evening. And a first down, RPO again. A good catch there made in traffic. DB was all over him on that one, Ramos.
Yeah. Good read. You know, the corner was bailing a little bit, was sinking, and that's exactly what, good timing. That's exactly what you do as a quarterback.
Going from the empty on 2nd and short. Short throw down the near sideline. Catch is made. And the Lightning are just matriculating the football down the field, trying to get a score and chew some clock, it seems.
Yeah, and you can see Black has finally settled himself into the ball game. You know, now he's delivering good throws.
Back to the ground game with Porter. He's been running the ball a lot here from the fullback spot, and he'll get a couple of yards there to make it 2nd down.
Yeah, presumably maybe the final play before the 2-minute warning. See if we see a little bit of play action here.
2 high safeties as Black is going to air it out to the end zone and incomplete. Almost an incredible catch there in the end zone to put 6 on the board for the Lightning.
Yeah, good play action. That was a nice throw. 2 defenders back there to break it up, though. 3rd down and 8.
Still good opportunity here for the Lightning. Black throws far sideline. Toe drag swag along that far sideline by Alvarez as he gets the first down just outside the 10.
Nice comeback route. Let's see if we can catch a replay on this one. Right there on the right. Seems to be cover 3 on the play. The corner was just basically protecting the end zone. And Black just runs right underneath it. Good catch, good control at the end.
And we got our first pylon camp sighting. Gotta love that. We've reached the 2-minute warning here in LA. The Aztecs up by 7, but New York is driving as you're watching the UFL on VFM. Fresh set of downs here for the Lightning following that great catch by Alvarez. Black looking for anything. Good clean pocket. He's going to go end zone and incomplete. It was in between 2 of his crossing receivers.
Yeah, and you don't want to leave Los Angeles with a lot of time here in the second quarter. So 2nd and 10, yeah, we'll probably run it here even.
Both teams, all 3 timeouts still. As Black is going to throw far sideline. Good run after catch and knocked out of bounds, so that'll stop the clock with a minute 50.
New York 104 total yards, and most of them here on this drive, by far their best drive of the night.
A.J. McGee with that catch sets up 3rd and 3. Black with time. Over the middle, almost picked off. That looked like it had reservations for 6 written all over it, but a dropped pass in the end zone brings up 4th down.
Yeah, and they gave Black more than enough time. He had a lot of time, and actually one of his receivers was coming pretty open on that one, but he tried to go to the back line of the end zone, but New York at least can try to put 3 points on the board.
Chip shot field goal here for Brendan White as he nails it right down the middle, and the Lightning have their first points on the board of the season. As we'll toss it over to our AI expert, Cameron Irvine, here for an explanation on the 4th and 3 or less situation.
Yeah, thanks, Eric, and welcome everybody to the UFL. So in the UFL, 4th and 3 or less enters into coach aggressiveness and a little bit of RNG. In that situation, New York could have elected to go for it, but chose to take the points after a long drive. But you never know when you get into those moments outside of your opponent's scoring position, Eric.
All right, thank you, Cam. Appreciate the explanation. Cameron Irvine going to be here with all of our primetime games as our AI expert to provide clarity whenever needed. So definitely good to have him around back at UFL HQ. Hey, look at Fowler's numbers. Doing pretty good. Over 4 yards a clip here, Ramos.
Yeah, you know, 10 carries, 41 yards. It's keeping the New York defense honest. That's exactly what it's doing. You know, the passing game has worked a little bit better than the run game, but the run game aids the passing game by just, you know, making New York think that on any given down, they can run the football.
Swift going to the air on 1st down. Good throw there and a clutch catch at about the 45-yard line by Lars Bazaar. He is going to be a huge threat from the tight end spot.
He is. And thanks to that gain, you don't have to hurry up. You don't have to call a timeout. You don't have to go no huddle. You still have your timeouts, and there's still plenty of time for you to at least try to get into field goal range as we see Plater get beat on that wheel route of sorts, 20-yard gain by Bazaar.
Raucous atmosphere in LA as New York can barely hear themselves think with everything going on here. The Aztec faithful loud and proud as Swift is going to throw again. Complete shy of the 1st down. Going to bring up 2nd and 4.
Right. So 2nd down and 4. You basically, you know, have to think of, do I call a timeout? Do I have to go on a no huddle? Right now, with still a minute left here in the first half, you're at midfield. All you need right now, Eric, is about a 15-yard gain. Then you're feeling about, you know, pretty confident in your chances of scoring.
Swift, quick throw there, just a little too much juice on that one. And it's going to bring up 3rd and 4. And I would agree, Ramos, and both teams with all 3 timeouts. I mean, this is plenty of time here. Obviously, we won't be seeing any spikes from any of these teams during this 2-minute offense. So if they want to stop the clock, they got to run out of bounds or use timeouts. As Swift is going to go to the air on 3rd down. Good catch there along the far sideline, and that's going to be a 1st down. Freezes the clock at 49.
Beautiful route, beautiful throw, beautiful call. Let's see if we can get a replay right there. It's another comeback route. It's actually more of a sail route, so because he's going outside. So he's about 10, 12 yards, and then actually turn to the sideline and just get the catch, make sure your feet is in bounds, get out of bounds, stop the clock, and you don't have to call one of your 3 timeouts.
That's Bazaar again. He's got the feet of a wide receiver, but the body of a tight end. As he gets it inside the 30. 1st down now for LA. Swift hurls it out to Fowler. Good catch there, as that one was at least a few yards in front of him. and he gets knocked out of bounds after a gain of 5.
A good adjustment right there by Fowler, getting 5 yards. Now you're in scoring position for sure. This is field goal range, no question about it. Now that's the point you're starting to really think about getting a touchdown.
From the gun, Swift, blitz coming, gonna throw it. Wide open man over the middle, inside the 10-yard line. It's gonna be a 1st and goal for the Aztecs. Bizarre with another catch.
Okay, 30 seconds left. I'm okay with the huddle. Just get out of the huddle. About 25, 22 seconds you want to snap the football.
That's exactly where he's gonna snap it. Swift, gonna check it down there. And that's the Fowler. Gonna still let the clock run, though. Oh, no, it's incomplete. I apologize.
Yeah, incomplete pass right there. 19 seconds, 2nd and goal. You have 3 plays anyway. Right now, the time really is not very important because of your timeouts, too.
Swift. Pocket collapsing. Finally checks it down to Fowler, trying to get a burst of speed, and now LA is going to burn their first timeout.
Right, so you call a timeout. It's 12 seconds left. 3rd down and goal. Basically, what I will do, you run about 2 different routes to the end zone. 2 different routes to the end zone, maybe 1 from each side, and then a couple of routes underneath. If nothing is open in the end zone, you go underneath and try to get the yards after the catch to go score.
Receivers towards the top of the formation. Swift looking. End zone. Catch is made. Miles Morales-Woods. And the Aztecs add to their lead.
Great throw. Great accuracy on that throw and good protection. Again, this has been the storyline of this first half for me. The protection that the Los Angeles offensive line has given this quarterback. 2 receivers basically running in the same area. Maybe one of them got confused right there as one of them was then going into a dig route, but nonetheless, a secondary cannot cover for that long, Eric, most of the time.
And that's a good point, Ramos. The offensive line for LA has been doing work tonight. Been keeping Swift clean. He's only been sacked the 1 time. And overall, he's just been making good decisions with the football as McCray adds the extra point, and it's now a 14-3 score.
What a drive. What a drive. 9 plays, 75 yards, and a beautiful 2-minute drill here for the Aztecs. Run to perfection, Eric. I mean, 8 seconds left here in the 2nd quarter. You cannot do it much better than that. And coming away with 7 points,
much more.
That's perfection right there.
And more importantly, Ramos, LA is going to get the 2nd half kickoff as well. So
Yep.
might have just gotten a little double dip action here on the Lightning.
And that's what great teams do. You know, that's what, teams, for example, the Patriots in the NFL did a lot throughout all those years with Brady and company. They will get a touchdown in the to end the first half. Then they always deferred, so they will get the ball to start a 3rd quarter, and they scored again. And all of a sudden, it's 14-0 in the span of a few minutes of play.
Alvarez with the return, just shy of the 30-yard line. Just enough time for 1 play here with 3 seconds. Black gonna hurl one deep, see if humanity in the middle of the field, and it's tipped and incomplete as the clock hits triple zeros, and the first half of play comes to a close. Los Angeles 14-3 over the New York Lightning, trying to get a little bit of a revenge game going as they were beaten in the championship game 41-20, now up by 11 at home.
Yeah, and the 2 biggest takeaways for me so far in the first half: offensive line for Los Angeles and the back end, the secondary for the Aztec defense. They've done a great job. Black, 10 of 20 passing and under 100 yards. This entire Lightning offense, about 120 yards of total offense. So Los Angeles doing a really good job getting those 3 and outs defensively. And then we've seen a couple of long drives here for the home team and a couple of touchdowns. They have an 11-point lead. And as you said, they will get the ball to start in the 2nd half.
We're going to take a quick break here, and you're watching UFL action on BFN.
This UFL is intended for the private use of our audience. This presentation of the UFL is intended for the private use of our audience. Any accounts or descriptions of the game without the express written consent of the league office is prohibited.
Welcome back to Los Angeles alongside Ramos Lynn. My name is Eric Vincent up here in the broadcast booth for you this evening. We've got our AI expert Cameron Irvine back at UFL HQ. LA jumping out to a 14-3 lead. As we mentioned, them getting the second half kickoff here. It's going to be a returnable kick. Up the middle, then bouncing back towards the inside. Penalty marker on the field.
It's going to be a
This
face
is going to be a
mask.
face mask, yeah.
Yeah, so the ball will be placed at about the 40-yard line, actually. So great field position here for the Aztecs again. And up 11, Eric, this is the time in which I think have to unleash Isaiah Fowler a little bit. You know, we've been talking about it through the first half. The passing game has worked well. Now with an 11-point lead, also play a little bit of the clock and tire this Lightning defense.
The Aztecs doubling up the Lightning in total yards as Swift is going to go to the air on play action. Wide open man towards the far sideline, out past the 40 to the 35-yard line. Huge gain there on first down.
You know, this is so like reminiscent of some of the offenses that, you know, have been even in the NFL, for example, is running the football, the stretch play, but also do the play action bootleg, the naked bootleg. And when you have that threat of a running game, receivers just become wide open down the field. And just like that, Los Angeles nearing field scoring position.
Iggy Turner with that big catch there, as Black can't believe it along the New York sideline. One play gets him into Lightning territory. Swift back to the air, not satisfied. Goes back to Turner. And a good gain on that one there of about 8 yards, brings up second and short.
And you can see they're concerned about the speed of a couple of receivers here on the outside. You know, they're playing a lot of quarters coverage. They're playing a lot of deep coverage, and it's leaving stuff underneath open.
Give them 7 on first down, 2nd and 3. Play action again for Swift. Looking end zone. Catch is made by Turner. It's the Iggy Turner show on this drive, and he's got a touchdown.
Beautiful play, beautiful throw, and what a catch by Turner. The Swift plants his feet back of the end zone. Toe drags swag. I think that's a good catch. Pylon.
There's the pylon cam confirming it right there. Gotta love that pylon cam, Ramos.
Yes. Absolutely. It's going to be reviewed, but at least on first glance, Eric, it looked like a pretty good catch to me.
It looked like a good catch in real time. It looked like a good catch from the pylon cam. Had possession through the entirety of the catch as he hit the ground. And I think that's going to stand. And it looks like it is going to stand. Extra point going to be up and through. 21-3 now for the Aztecs as they are taking a commanding lead in this one. Tomorrow night, the UFL slate gets underway at 7 p.m. Eastern Time with a trio of games. Salt Lake takes their high-octane offense to Montana. San Jose takes on Fresno in a rivalry out in the Pacific Division. And Dallas faces dreaded cross-conference foe El Paso. In the nightcap, it's Nate Hall and the Denver Avengers facing Sauce K and the Florida Sharks. Tomorrow night, it's all right here on VFN.
This is what we were talking about, Eric. You know, the third, you get the or you score at the end of the first half, then you get the ball to start the second half and put another touchdown on the board. In a span of about 2 minutes of gameplay, this has turned between from 7-3 to 21-3.
New York got to get some points on the board here, preferably touchdowns, as LA is just throwing the rock all over the yard. You would think it's a perfect sunny day out here in LA, not raining cats and dogs the way that they're playing.
Yeah, absolutely. And what New York needs right now is a spark. You know, try to get a big play somewhere. You know, it can be a deep throw or it can be a screen pass that turns into a big game.
Dawson, the backfield on first down. Black with play action. Has plenty of time. Good offensive protection there from the line. He's going to go deep, and a catch is made. There's your chunk play, Ramos, as they get into Aztec territory at the 35.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And again, if you don't have any rush, I don't care how good your secondary is, they will not be able to cover for 8, 10, 12 seconds. That's impossible. So Gordon with the catch, coming back to the ball. And just like that, New York inside the 40.
40-yard catch there for Dylan Gordon. Puts the Lightning in business here on first down. Black back to the air, fires quickly. Wide open receiver inside the 20, into the red zone, and inside the 15-yard line. Gordon once again.
That's just a seam route right there, right side, as you can see on the replay. Right there, and that's exactly how it is drawn. It's right there in the hash. Throw it right there in the hash, in between the linebackers and the safeties also. You know, that's kind of like a dead spot on a defense.
Set 50, plant.
Let him know, let him know. Let him know.
Definitely in scoring range here from inside the 15. Dylan Gordon doing work as Porter gets the carry here on first down, and he'll rumble forward to about the 10.
4-yard gain on the play, make it a second down and 6 yards to go.
Go. 60 or. Fire.
Going to keep it on the ground. This time Doss trying to get the line to gain, and he got really, really close. I think they're going to give him the first down. No, they'll mark him just shy at the 5.
Yeah, I think that's a good call. I think the ball was a little bit behind the line of gain. So third down and 1, that's when you put your big boys up. See if they run to the left. I will like to see them run to the left.
Porter gives Doss a breather. He'll get the carry, and the Aztecs were there to greet him right at the line, and they did not get it. I didn't think they got it at first glance, and it just certainly doesn't look like it from the spot.
Does not look like he got it as Walker comes in, delivers the first hit. And that's a pretty good view of it, and definitely not. You know, looking at the chains, absolutely did not get it.
Miguel Morales-Woods cleaning up the hit there as well. And another chip shot field goal here for New York, as White adds the 3 points to make it a 21-6 game now. So they got points on the board, Ramos. They definitely got some plays down the field. And we're going to go ahead and toss it over to our AI expert, Cameron Irvine, quickly here, as he's got some juicy tidbits to share with us.
Yeah, so it's interesting, Eric, right? We've seen a couple of fourth and shorts end in field goals in this game. Well, at the end of every week in the UFL, if the league feels like fourth down is being too passive, they want to be more aggressive with their calls, we have the ability to adjust the sliding scale in general of how often a team might go for it on 4th and 3 or less, in any game situation. So very interesting stuff. It's just one game, one small sample size, but that's what we've seen so far tonight, more passive approach on 4th down.
All right, thank you, Cam. And that is a good point. That's what makes this league so great, is that you truly are in control of your player, of how your team operates, what they want to do, where they want to improve. There's just so much that you can do with this league, and it's very exciting to get this finally underway, as LA looking to add to their 15-point lead and only a gain of maybe a yard.
You know, and also to provide explanation of why would a coach do that. You know, you're down, you just had one of your best drives of the game. You want to come away with some points. You know, there's still a lot of game left to play, and you just don't want to come away with nothing.
Fowler looked like he had a head of steam there, got tripped up by a blocker up front. Otherwise, he might have been gone over into the next county.
Yeah, good closing speed by the defense. 3rd down and 4. This is a big 3rd down for the New York defense. Protect the sticks will be my advice for the Lightning.
Swift to the air. Just a little bit too far for his intended target there. He was looking for Fancher. And that's going to bring up 4th down. That was a big stop there for New York to give themselves a little bit of momentum. Eric Vincent alongside Ramos Lynn here in the broadcast booth for you this evening, bringing you the inaugural game of the UFL. And it's been fun so far. I mean, the scoreboard doesn't necessarily show it, but we've certainly seen some fireworks from both teams tonight.
Yeah, we have. And this is maybe the first really errant throw by Swift in which a receiver was wide open, and He just flat out missed him.
Good punt there. Good backspin. Probably a 52-degree wedge on that foot there as he downs it inside the 10 at the 8-yard line.
Yeah, so on punts, you know, basically the ball is down by the kicking team when the player makes first contact with the football, right? So even if they touch the ball but they get into the end zone, you know, in most football leagues it will be a touchback, but here in the UFL, basically you touch the ball is down, the ball is dead at that spot.
That's a great point there as Doss is going to get the first down carry, and again, he gets hammered in the backfield by Brocious and company. Certainly enables the players out there to, you know, maybe save some of those punts where, you know, it looks like it's bounding for the end zone, but as long as you get a fingernail on the football at the 1-yard line, that's where it's down.
Correct. And a good stop right there by the LA defense. Another loss of yardage for New York.
New York going to keep it on the ground here. Good run this time as Doss makes the carry close to the line to gain 3rd and short.
3rd and short, 3rd and 3. We may see crossing routes. Just get enough to get the first.
Possession game here in California. Black to the air. Gonna air one out into traffic, but the catch is made by the tight end. And a big time play there by A.J. McGee.
A great catch by McGee right there. That was tightly covered by the defense. As we see here, you know, the corner collapsed on it, Turner, but not quickly enough. Fighting through the contact, making the catch, and a first down for the Lightning.
Let's go now. 10 Lobo.
Hey, pick it up, defense. Let's go.
Keeps the Lightning going here. A little bit of a slow handoff there to Porter. And plenty of time for the Aztec defense to get back there and make the stop, as Kilgannon definitely got in there and made a huge play there for the TFL.
Trying to surprise them with the draw, but absolutely nothing doing there, as New York was unable to hold their blocks, and that's a 5-yard loss.
Come on, set. 60 Pittsburgh.
Brozier's been wrecking shop there from his end spot. DJ Kilgannon's been doing a great job as well. Certainly hard to get this run game going with 2 bookends like that, as you only get maybe a yard out of that one, and it's going to be 3rd and long again.
Yeah, 3rd and long, 3rd and 11.
Ready? 60 outlaws.
Basically sent about 4, maybe even 5 receivers to catch a pass. 5 it is.
3rd and 11 now for Black. Good clean pocket this time. He's going to fire near sideline. Open man past the sticks, and it's Rodriguez.
He's come up with a couple of really big catches here in this game. Now 3 for 52. Comeback route. Catches, gets out of bounds. And a good conversion on 3rd and long.
They ran there in good hands to snag that football from behind him and secure the catch.
Ready, go. Set, go.
Good drive here for the Lightning, and a good run there by Porter, as he'll get it near midfield. In fact, they'll mark him right at the midfield stripe.
2nd down and 7. Now we're seeing this New York offense, you know, really with some rhythm and some flow to it.
Coming after you. Check.
Going 2 wide, heavy set. Play action. Black fires it quickly. He throws into traffic, and man, almost came up with that one, but it's incomplete. 3rd down.
It's one of those hospital passes, though. You're throwing right there to the teeth of the defense. 2 linebackers, and they're lucky. It was just an incomplete.
Hey, you made the hospital pass comment, not me. Black on 3rd and 7. Open man, it's McGee again. He's been clutch on this drive too, as he'll keep the drive going and move the chains.
Yeah, just a simple hook route right there. It's about 8 yards and about an 8-yard concept, 8 to 10 yards, depending on what you're trying to do. And in between the zone, gets the catch.
Perfect route for a big tight end there, especially on kind of a 3rd and mid-range that you're trying to convert.
Slam, slam, slam.
First down from Aztec territory. Good run there by Doss. And a good play on the back end by the linebacker, Scotty Scruggs. And bring up a second down and 6.
Man, this is just a 2-possession game. It's only 15 points. Like, if New York can cash this in for the first touchdown of the game, that's going to be massive.
Porter, good run here, able to dispatch the first defender there. Gets wrapped up by a couple more. It's going to bring up 3rd and 8.
3rd and 8, about from the 33-yard line or so, maybe about the 34 with the forward progress. So again, it's one of those situations you may send a couple of guys to run past the sticks, and then a couple of other receivers and underneath routes to try to at least get you in field goal range.
Black from the gun on 3rd and 8. Airs it out near sideline and couldn't quite connect. Looked like he might have had a receiver open, but just threw it a little bit too far into the stands. And it's going to be 4th down now.
Good protection, good pocket. And that's a pass that they've been able to connect a few times in this game with Rodriguez, but that one, no dice.
Just outside of field goal range, bobbled the punt, almost got it blocked. And it's going to land at about the 7 and bounce close to the goal line, and that's exactly what we're talking about. Touched it right at the 2, and that's where it's going to be down.
Correct. So right there it's down, right there at the 2. You don't even have to pick it up. You just have to touch it. So bad field position here for Los Angeles, and this is exactly where the New York defense has to make a big play. I will send a little bit of pressure here. I'll absolutely send a little bit of pressure. See if you can get a safety even.
Let's go, let's go, let's go.
This is definitely the spot of the field where you want to do that. Problem is that LA's offensive line has been superb all night. Fowler with the carry, gets out of his own end zone, bounces it to the outside, and gets first down yardage. Good gain of 12 plus.
Good run on the outside, and just New York did not have that one contained whatsoever, as Fowler was able to just bounce it outside right there and doesn't get touched until he is about 12 yards down the field.
Yeah, 60 outlaw. Get ready.
Fresh set of downs here. Fowler with the pitch play, spin move. Man, just missed that hole, I think, Ramos. If he cut it back inside, he might have been off to the races.
Yeah, he panicked a little bit, trying to get it to the outside. You know, as an elusive back, that's sometimes your instinct, to just get it to the outside and try to get your speed, but you have to plant your foot, cut it inside, and try to get some positive yards. Good job by the defensive player right there to, you know, really shed a couple blocks and make the tackle for a 3-yard loss.
And that 3-yard loss is going to bring us to the end of 3, as LA on top big, 21-6 over the Lightning. Still a 2-possession game, and we've got one more quarter of action to go. UFL on VFN continues. 3 wide, empty set here for Marco Swift. It's on 2nd and long. Good protection, hit as he's throwing, and it's going to be a completion near the sticks. He's going to pick up about 5, 3rd and 8.
3rd down and 8 yards to go here for Los Angeles. You know, they hold to a 2-possession lead. So basically you tell the quarterback, you know, maybe it's going to be a passing play. If it's not really open, just don't throw it. Don't force an interception. You don't want to give this kind of field position to New York. They're just going to run it.
To the ground game. Fowler, big burst of speed up the middle. He's at midfield. If he can find another gear, he might be gone. I don't think anyone's going to catch him, and they won't. Touchdown, Isaiah Fowler.
This is exactly what we were talking about, Eric. Exactly what we were talking about. It was just a matter of time. It was just a matter of time for Fowler to get a big run. You felt it. It was like, you see the speed, you see the burst. The offensive line is doing a good job, but New York was crashing into it. It just takes a little bit of a crease, and he's gone.
the Aztec faithful have been waiting all night long for, as Fowler went absolutely ham in the 31-13 drubbing of Cleveland in their exhibition match. We finally see him get off to the races, and he's over the century mark tonight, and the Aztecs are cruising to a victory here with a 22-point lead. New York got to find some sort of momentum if they're going to keep pace.
They have to, and they have to go no huddle right here, Eric. I mean, you basically, consider, okay, we're down 3 scores and we have 11 minutes to play. So that's about, we need a touchdown every 4 minutes, pretty much, like every 3.5 minutes. So we're not going to have the ball, 5-6 more times in this game. We need to make the possessions count, and we have to go no huddle and try to steal a possession, try to gain time for a possession.
Return out past the 20 to about the 23. We'll bring on our AI expert, Cameron Irvine, on this game situation that we're experiencing right now. Teams trailing by more than 2 scores. How do they typically operate in those situations?
Yeah, so usually in almost every video game that's ever been released, you're talking about a 5 or 6 minutes. Oh, they finally start to get going. Here in the UFL, they're going to get going in between 10 and 12 minutes if you're down by more than 16 points. And so we can expect to see New York turn it up tempo. That keeps teams trailing in games longer as that pass was incomplete. What a hit. But yeah, you should see New York pick it up pretty quick here.
All right, awesome. Thank you, Cam. Almost a huge catch along the far sideline. Instead, he got suplexed. It's an incompletion. Black back to the air. Undeterred. He's going to just throw this one away.
Nothing.
He had McGee in the area, but I think that was a wise decision. They were almost the pocket collapsing.
Yeah, just nothing open. It's better to settle for a 3rd down and 10 rather than throw an interception or get sacked. So
3rd down now. Ooh. New York just electing to run the football here to Porter. And just like all night long, Scotty Scruggs and company just laying the wood along that line of scrimmage. It's going to be a 4th and long.
They're trying to catch the defense off guard, but Scruggs was coming in with a blitz anyway. And just in his way to the quarterback, just meets the running back and gets him down for a big loss. And you can see the demeanor on the sideline here for New York. I mean, this has been a rough game for the Lightning.
Ready, ready. 8-3. You can't block me. You can't block me. Watch twist. Big grip. Big grip.
Now on 4th and long, Black going to go for it deep in their own end. Has time. Flag on the field. He's going to go deep. He's got a man, and it's incomplete. The hit jarred the football loose on the back end, and it wouldn't have even mattered anyway with the hold.
Yeah, no, that was a holding on the offense. So Los Angeles declines. They get the football again, and they really can just put this out of reach now.
Big hit by Miguel Morales-Woods gives the ball back as Swift is back to the air once again. Iggy Turner with another catch. He had one drive where he was just absolutely unstoppable.
What a game by Swift. 21 of 26 for 3 touchdowns. And he spread the ball around to his receivers.
High formation this time. Swift, big touchdown run on the last drive. Gets just enough to move the sticks. And it's going to be a 1st and goal for LA.
And you can just see how this New York defensive front is just tired at this point. They are unable to, plug the gaps quickly enough and unable to get to the quarterback as well.
Oh. Swift slipping as he gets the football, still completes the pass over to Miles Morales-Woods. And it's going to bring up 2nd and goal. That was a scary situation there.
Yeah, but that's when your offensive line is doing a heck of a job. You slip and everything, and you're still able to throw the pass for a completion.
That's how you know it's your kind of night. Swift to the air again, just throwing it past the end zone there. Had a couple guys in the area.
Right, so 3rd down and goal. Go with the heavy guys. I'm not surprised if they just give it to the running back. Take the clock down. Nope.
They're going to go play action, roll out. Going to check it over that way. And Noel gets the catch, but it is out of bounds, and it's going to bring a 4th and goal opportunity to the table here. New York gets a stop.
I think they ruled that an incompletion. So anyway, it will be 4th down. The clock stops. And Los Angeles with a chance to go up 25.
Chip shot field goal here, up and good. LA makes it a 31-6 game here at home off the foot of McRae. And just want to keep you folks updated. Tonight's game is going to be in the triple box shortly after this one concludes, about 8:45 p.m. Eastern time. We've got Wichita facing off against Washington, Vegas traveling to San Diego, and Cincinnati going to Texas to face Austin.
It's in about 35 minutes time, so as soon as we are out of here, join the triple box for more UFL content. The Los Angeles Aztecs with a terrific showing here in week 1. Eric, you cannot overstate that against the defending champs.
Absolutely not, especially after they took a drubbing in last season's championship game, 41-20, and man, they are coming out with some fire in their bellies, looking to get another championship under their belt.
Yeah.
So now New York back on offense here, just under 8.5 to go here, all 3 timeouts. It's been tough sledding all night long for Brando Black and company. Really nothing going on offense at all as he's going to check it over to Porter coming out of the backfield. Good catch and run there by the big fullback. And that's going to bring up 2nd and 5.
Yeah, and everything that New York has done right now has been with basically like a lot of labor. Outside a couple of two drives, they've really had a tough time finding any open receivers, like right here.
Like right now, Brando Black, pocket finally collapsing around him. There's Brosius again. He's having himself a hell of a game from the defensive end spot as he gets a sack finally.
Yeah, it really starts with how this defensive line has been able to shut down the run game and just in that particular situation put pressure with 3 rushers.
New York keeping the no-huddle offense on the field. Black airing it out. Catch is made off the deflection, and he's going to rumble into the end zone. What a topsy-turvy play as Gordon gets into the end zone for an 80-yard touchdown.
Okay, now. That was heads-up play by the receiver. Basically, the thrown ball on a prayer, and Gordon gets that one off the deflection. What a crazy, crazy play here by the Lightning as they put their first touchdown of the season. What a way to score your first touchdown of the year.
Man, I mean, if that's not the UFL right there, I don't know what is. McGee got absolutely tattooed on that play, yeah, trying to come up with that football. But Gordon, the beneficiary, and the Lightning overall are as well as they finally get their first touchdown on the board of the season.
So it's 31-12. I'll take the extra point and make it an 18-point game.
And they'll add the extra point to make it a 31-13 game. Still 7.5 minutes, Ramos. Don't count the Lightning out yet now.
Yeah, I mean, they're the defending champs for a reason, and as they've shown, or as they have the capacity to score in a hurry. So, I mean, you never know, I guess.
Finally getting some offensive momentum off of a fluke play in the rain. Deflected by his own guy and into the hands of Gordon for a huge touchdown pass. So now LA, an opportunity to pour more salt in the wound. Deep kickoff there, and they'll bring it out to the 25-yard line.
Let's go, let's go, let's go.
Yeah, 7:32 left here in regulation. We see Fowler's updated numbers, 144 rushing yards. A good chunk of it, about half of them on that touchdown run. And I will absolutely feed the ball a couple times to him here to start the drive.
Absolutely, and he'll get the carry. Good shoot by the linebacker there to make the TFL in the backfield.
There's McClure on the tackle for loss. As he came completely unblocked right there off the A-gap. Blitzes the A-gap, gets to the running back, makes a solid tackle. Right now what Los Angeles cares more about is the time. They just take a couple minutes off the clock. Even if you have to punt. Right now they worry more about the time.
They're going to want to chew as much clock as they possibly can at this point. With an 18-point lead deep in this ball game. Little counter play there to Fowler. Lightning not fooled once again. Fowler with an impressive evening, but it's going to be a 3rd and long.
3rd and long, 3rd and 12, and honestly, even on a 3rd and 12, Eric, I will run it again. Honestly, up 3 touchdowns.
Kingston Ellington right now sitting on a perfect score prediction. And just so everyone knows, all players get a +3 progression for every score that they get right. No one wins tonight. Tomorrow's winnings are going to go up to +6.
Ready, go.
3rd and 12. Keeping the ball on the ground. Fowler, again, tackled in the backfield. Nothing doing there. Lightning doing their job on the run defense, and they'll get the ball back.
Yeah, so Los Angeles doing what they need to do. Again, it was not positive yardage. It was not a great drive by any means, but you put the pressure on the offense of the Lightning of, okay, you still have to score 3 touchdowns with 5 minutes left in the game.
They choose some clock, about 90 seconds off of it. 90 plus seconds, I should say. Fair catch call for and made by Alvarez. And good field position from the 33-yard line. New York, maybe they got some juice from that fluky play there. I mean, Black's numbers a little bit inflated by that 80-yard touchdown pass, but hey, it still counts as 6 on the board.
It does, and they need more of that for sure.
Black going to go back to the air, down 18. Going to throw it out to McGee. Tackled right away along that far sideline, gained about 6.
Great job by the defensive player right there, not allowing for McGee to go out of bounds. And that will keep the clock running.
Keeping the no-huddle offense on the field. Black trying to find anybody at all, and the pocket breaks down. He's going to go down for another sack as Clayton gets hold of him this time.
2nd sack of the night for the Aztec defense. 3rd down and 15. And here for Los Angeles, basically covering deep.
Black throws it near the sticks, and it's going to be a 1st down.
Yeah, he's got it.
Bryson Rodriguez with a good catch there, Ramos.
And a great route. Just running his route right there at the 1st down marker.
Under 5 to go in regulation. Black throws this one just a little bit past his intended target there in Dylan Gordon.
Silver lining is that the clock stops. 4:48 left here in regulation. And now they will send 5 receivers. It's going to be scat protection. Just 5 offensive linemen blocking. Let's see how they do.
Black going to throw it out. Far sideline. Catch made, but only for a couple of yards there. And that's going to bring up 3rd and 8 as they'll keep the no-huddle offense on the field.
Yeah, right now for Los Angeles, some sort of like umbrella defense. Just rush 3, have 8 in coverage, protect the sidelines, and protect deep.
That's exactly what you want. Black, open man, 1st down yardage and more into Aztec territory near the 30-yard line. And the Lightning are on the move.
First catch of the game for Banks. Good for 23 yards.
New York doing a good job with clock operation here on this drive. Trying to get a block there, but that's not going to work. Brosius back in action again. He gets his 2nd sack of the evening.
And the pressure that Los Angeles has been able to put in here in the last couple of drives with only 3 or 4 rushers, very impressive.
Play action this time on 2nd and 19. Good blitz pickup this time. Black has time. He's going to throw, and it's dropped. Looked like he had a man there, just couldn't quite reel it in. And it's going to bring up 3rd and long with 3:35 to go.
Yeah, I don't know if the defender interfered with the vision of the receiver as he got in front of him, but that was New York's opportunity. If that pass is caught, that's probably a touchdown.
High snap, trying to go with a little bit of a run play there to keep him off guard, but the Aztecs were ready for it as they have been virtually all game long. Brosius, again, just wrecking shop along the front line.
Yeah, just trying to get a little bit of a shorter 4th down and just backfires on them as they lose 3, and that's going to be 4th and 22.
Not too many plays in the playbook there to cover 4th and 22.
Really, you don't design a whole lot for that, for sure.
Gonna go split backs here in the gun. Black getting aired out. He's got a wide open man. That's first down yardage. Ryzen Rodriguez with a huge catch into the red zone.
And that's just flat out a busted coverage right there by the corner. You know, you have to get deep. You have to sink and get as deep as you can.
Lightning back to the line in a hurry. Black to throw. Pocket collapsing around him. Finally gets it out near sideline. And going to be tackled inside the 10.
Very impressed with the closing speed from the LA defense, you know, in general in this game, both in the run and in the pass. And if they allow a catch, they come in a hurry.
Black, 2nd and 5. Short pass over the middle again. Catch made. Clock continuing to roll. Only a couple of yards there. Might get one more play off before the 2-minute warning.
Maybe so. They should have the time.
They'll get a snap to 2:05. Play action. Black. End zone. Receiver falls down. And it's incomplete. Oh, what a heartbreaker as we hit the 2-minute warning. 31-13 the score as the Lightning trying to keep pace here.
4th and 3. Look for the slot receiver on this one.
This would be pretty much the ball game here. Black throws and incomplete. Defensive back, I think, had a better opportunity at that one there, Ramos.
He did. That was great coverage. Great coverage. You know, normally when you have that man-to-man coverage, you try to find, you know, quote-unquote, what you will consider to be the weak spot of a defensive backfield, which is normally the number 3 corner, the number 4 corner. That's what they tried, but that was outstanding coverage on that one. They just tried to do a speed out to get a first down, and it was undercut by the defense.
Carlton Rhodes, the winner of today's boost. Ronnie Shanahan winning today's drop. And Kingston Ellington, right now, with a perfect score, could win +3 progression for his player as Fowler gets a carry here and runs it up the middle for a big gain.
I'm telling you, he just explodes off the line of scrimmage. His acceleration is very impressive.
Let's go.
2nd and inches now. Aztecs doing a good job with chewing the clock. Send a man in motion, get it snapped at 3 on the play clock, and a run, maybe about a loss of a half a yard as we'll toss it over to our UFL analyst, Cameron Irvine. Talk about no timeouts were used by New York on that last possession there.
Yeah, if you are trailing by more than 2 scores, there's no ceremonious burning of the timeouts. Now, with that being said, the team that's winning also doesn't know to kneel the ball because you have all 3 timeouts. But you know, we try our best. Yeah, we won't have to worry about the burning timeouts up 30, or down 30, I should say. So looks like New York's playing out the stretch.
All right, thank you, Cam. Clock continuing to go here. Fowler getting the first down and pretty much sealing the deal here for the Aztecs as they have a 31-13 lead, and this very likely will be the final score.
Yeah. How about Kingston Ellington, man? How about him? You know, 31-13 against the defending champs. You know that you normally would think, you know, it will be maybe a closer game, or you know, especially you know with the rain, you know, closer game. But what a great spot-on prediction.
Certainly, especially, you know, that's coming into this game, you might have thought maybe a little bit of a hot take, but man, oh man, spot on the ball. And for his efforts, he's going to get a +3 progression for getting that score correct. And that score tonight in your first primetime UFL game is going to be 31 for the Los Angeles Aztecs and 13 for the defending champ, New York Lightning. Ramos, any final thoughts for this inaugural game here for the UFL?
I mean, very impressive from the Aztecs right here in this game. They dominated the line of scrimmage. They were able to get some sacks. And when they needed a big burst from Isaiah Fowler, they got it. They got 3rd down conversions when they needed them. You know, Swift, very, very accurate with the ball. There are a couple of throws that, you know, he misfired, but all in all, I mean, he was very impressive. And just this New York offense just couldn't capitalize. There were a couple of times in which they had some good plays, good drives coming together, and they just fizzle into no points or just 3. And that's really what hurt them and cost them the game. Also, their inability to run the football. They tried to run the football, but only 27 rushing yards.
Very astutely put, Ramos. On behalf of my partner, Ramos Lynn, and UFL expert Cameron Irvine back at UFL HQ, my name is Eric Vincent. Thank you for tuning in to this first Primetime UFL game. Stay tuned for the Triple Box coming at you at 8:45 Eastern Time right here on VFN. You don't want to miss it. We'll see you tomorrow night for more Primetime action, and we'll see you a little bit later on for the Triple Box.